What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. TGIF. I just got paid. It's Friday night. I just got paid. It feels all so right. Did it on. Did it on, down. Did it on. Guess who else is about to get paid? Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. There's only one Tyson Fury. As his promoter, Frank Warren, put in a winning purse bid of $41.25 million, outbidding the $32 million that was put in by Matchroom Boxing CEO, Eddie Hearn, the P. Diddy of boxing promoters, always in the video. Now, he did an interview earlier today on Boxing Social, Eddie Hearn, and he basically saw this coming. As he said, look, man, we had a big disadvantage. Bob Arum and Frank Warren can basically cut a deal with Tyson Fury, bid high on the purse bid, and make it very tough for us to come in with a better and higher purse bid, because we have the fighter with the lesser purse split, 20%. They got 80%, and we had a huge disadvantage. But we will put in a purse bid, and there's still a chance we'll be able to put that fight on for Matchroom Boxing and on the zone. But he did not sound very confident, so he basically saw the handwriting on the wall. You know, Eddie Hearn was the lone ranger in this equation. He got double teamed by Frank Warren and Bob Arum. Now, Queensbury Promotions put in the official bid, but you best believe that this was a collaboration. This was a collaborative effort with Queensbury Promotions and Top Rank Boxing, backed by ESPN. Just like I say Eddie Hearn was the Lone Ranger, but he was backed by the Zone. But when you basically got two of the top promoters in the sport of boxing, Bob Arum and Frank Warren, especially when you talk about Bob Arum, who along with Al Heyman and the PBC are the two biggest boxing entities in the United States. And when you talk about Frank Warren, along with Eddie Hearn, are the two biggest boxing entities in the UK. So basically it was 2 against 1. Eddie Hearn saw the handwriting on the wall, and what he saw coming actually came. Now, with this fight finally being secured through purse bid, this would enable Tyson Fury at the end of the day to walk away with $32.2 million, and Dillian Whyte at the end of the day to walk away with $8.2 million. Both fighters career high paydays. Now, Dillian Whyte, according to reports, see, that's why I say I don't never just say this as a fact, but according to reports, was asking for $10 million. Now, if Eddie Hearn, $32 million would have been the highest bid, and he would have secured the rights to Fury versus Whyte, Whyte would have walked away with $6.4 million. $3.6 million less than his alleged asking price. Now, Eddie Hearn was constantly telling Dillian Whyte, hey man, don't take a dollar less, don't take a penny less than what you are worth, because it'll just go to purse bid, and I'll make sure in the purse bid by my bid, which will be very high, that you will get what you're looking for. And that turned out to be not the case, because again, if Eddie Hearn would have won the purse bid, Dillian Whyte wouldn't have came nowhere close to what he was allegedly asking for. $6.4 million is what he would have ended up getting, not the alleged $10 million that he was asking for. With all that being said, Dillian Whyte got much closer than what he was allegedly asking for in the winning purse bid by Frank Warren and Bob Arum, and Dillian Whyte will walk away with $8.2 million in earnings. So at the end of the day, both fighters should have a smile on their face. especially Tyson Fury. That's why he did that video yesterday laughing. He just didn't say nothing. He just was laughing. He was like, man, I ain't got to pay no step-aside money to Joshua and Dillian Whyte. I ain't got to be involved in a fight with Usyk, which is a much tougher fight than a Dillian Whyte fight. I'm going to make more money in the Dillian Whyte, which is a more high-profile fight in the UK and probably a little bit more high-profile fight here in the US. Because in my opinion, Dillian Whyte has more of a name in the US due to the fact that he was going back and forth with the second most popular fighter in the US behind Canelo Alvarez, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. They have quite a few going on that's been dating back to what, 2018, 2019? There's no love lost between Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte, so he has a bigger name here in the US based solely on that fact. And when you look at Alexander Usyk, you know, he's a guy that has a pretty good name in the UK, but he don't really have no kind of name over here in the United States. As he was on a boxing card a couple of years ago in Chicago on the Zone. And they said it wasn't nobody at that fight. It was in Chicago. Eddie Hearn put on that fight. I don't even know if Usyk was even the main event, but he was on that card in Chicago. And they were thinking, well, man, they have a huge Ukrainian contingent in Chicago. He'll be able to bring out a lot of people from the Ukraine descent to come out and watch Usyk fight. And they didn't have nobody in there, man. It was a damn near empty arena for that card. So with all that being said, Usyk don't have no kind of name ID here in the US. And then on top of that, you would have had to pay him step-aside money, him being Joshua and Dillian Whyte. And I guarantee you, when it was all said and done, if he'd have fought Usyk, he wouldn't have made no $32.2 million that he gonna get fighting Dillian Whyte. So at the end of the day, he's a big winner in this equation, and so is Dillian Whyte. Because Dillian Whyte would have had to take step-aside money, and he probably would have ended up having to wait not one but two fights to get his opportunity to fight for the heavyweight championship. Best case scenario, maybe he could have fought Anthony Joshua, and the winner of that would have got the winner of Usyk versus Fury. But I don't know why Eddie Hearn would have signed up for that, because he basically would have eliminated one of his fighters out of the heavyweight championship picture, when both fighters could have been in the heavyweight championship picture. In this scenario, he got Dillian Whyte gonna fight for a belt against Tyson Fury, and he got Anthony Joshua, who will be looking to reclaim his belts from Alexander Usyk. So he got two fighters in the mix of a heavyweight championship title equation, instead of only having one, if he would have allowed that scenario to transpire. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But that's the news. The Tyson Fury Dillian Whyte saga is finally over, ladies and gentlemen. The working date that we have is March 26th. Bob Arum said a couple of weeks ago that could get pushed back to a week or two. So basically we're looking at late March, early April for Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. Let me know your thoughts about that particular matchup. Who you like? And do you think both fighters came out like bandits? They both put on ski masks and basically are getting overpaid for this type of fight, because we're not looking at a fight between these two guys on the level of a Tyson versus Holyfield, or on the level of a Tyson versus Lewis, or on the level of a Lewis versus Holyfield. Because you look at what the winning bid is, $41.25 million is what this fight is worth. That's what it's worth. Because you know the reason why it's worth $41.25 million is because Frank Warren put up $41.25 million to secure the fight. So that's what it's worth. It's what it's worth is what it's worth. Is what people is willing to put up for the fight. So that's what it's worth, man. But yeah, no. I think it got down to Frank Warren and Bob Arum did not want that fight to go to Eddie Hearn. And they moved hell and high water. They moved heaven and earth. And they overpaid for that fight to secure that fight. So they're going to do some press conference, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three press conferences. They'll do one in New York, or maybe they do another one in LA, and they do another one in the UK, or maybe they just do one. Or maybe they just do two. They probably just do one in the US and one in the UK if I had to make an educated guess. And bring both guys in there. You know, they're going to talk their trash. Both guys are great trash talkers, so they got to try to sell this fight, man. They need to do all access, 24/7. They need to do a sit down with one moderator, with both guys at the table talking trash and saying what they're going to do to each other on fight night. They need to bring all that to the equation and try to put all that together so they can make some money on this fight. Because like I said, man, with the pay-per-view on this fight, it's going to be on ESPN pay-per-view, and it's probably going to be on the Zone pay-per-view. That the Zone now is getting into the pay-per-view platform. And they're going to need to do some big numbers, not only in the UK, but here in the US. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But let me know your thoughts about Frank Warren winning the purse bid, and who you like in this particular matchup between Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury, and Dillian, the Body Snatcher White. Let me know who you like, and if you think the fight ends inside 12 rounds, give me the round you think the fight ends in. Let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and I holla.